Hey my friend, it's Duc. In this episode, let's talk about how to build the Photos browser app with UICollectionViewController. And along the way, I want to share with you how you can create this very cool effect. We call it zooming image effect. I don't have another cooler name to name this guy, so you can suggest me any name. It looks like this. We have a collection view of photos, a grid views of photos that we can scroll around. You can see this kind of effect in apps like App Store, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all around the world. People use this kind of UI every single way that we want to, or especially in the camera roll, right? And we have a grid, usually 3 columns of photos, and then we just have like rows of photos like that. And especially when we click onto the photo, then we have the image will zoom out, takes place like that, and when it goes back into the collection view, it zooms back in. It's incredibly nice. So let's get into work. Down below on the screen, you'll see a button that you can download the starter project. I prepared for you all of the starter project, some demo code, some of the code that is already written for you. I already wrote that for you so that we can save us some time, and also some resources, some images. Click that button down below, download the starter project, and let's get started. There you go into my blog, submit your name and email there so that I can send you. Number 1 is the starter project. Number 2 is a new webinar that I'm working on, and this new webinar I'm going to teach you a very cool app. I know that if you love this topic already, you'll love that webinar. So let's get into this. Here is the starter project, and by the way, I'm going to run this one just a little bit and then we'll see. Now in this project, we don't have anything built like all of those crazy stuff yet, but in the assets.exe asset, I prepared tons of images for you, just some model images that we can use as our mockup. And then in the photos.swift, you see that there's a struct called photo category. This photo category is the category of photos that contains, number 1, the category image name, the name of the image inside our assets.exe asset. Number 2 is the title of the category. Number 3 is our image names, an array of image, because now a category of image will have different images, right? So it has different image names there, and then we just have one static function called fetch photos. This kind of design is very much like you have a REST API or a backend that, by the way, we'll talk about in the webinar how you can build a social network app. Usually I talk about that. And this, you have a function from your model class MVC. Remember, you will download data there, you put back into your view controller, and then you populate the data into your views, right? That's pretty the whole thing about MVC. And that's it. Below there you have just some classes that we can generate the data. That's all. So now let me show you the complete project right here so that we can know how it works. This is the complete project. I'll put it right in the center here. And then we have these things. If I click onto this, we see that guy going like that, right? Incredibly nice. Now notice the image, that the effect of the image. If we click to that, it zooms out, and when it goes back, it zooms back right into the place of the image. That's incredibly nice. So let's go into the demo. We'll get started immediately. Download the starter project, okay? So now I will go over the main.storyboard and we'll get designing, number 1, designing the UI for our Photos browser. Now this guy you can use anyway, so I just call it a Photos browser because we have tons of photos. So we have view controller here. Let's delete that one because we don't use those generic things. Let's go into this and we'll drag out a collection view controller like that, and then I will embed this guy into a navigation controller. Okay, so we have a navigation, embed in a navigation controller so that we have this guy, the navigation bar. Okay, let me put it like this so you can see it. Okay, so this Now this navigation bar could be this guy, and the grid of photos could be something we call a collection view controller. If you know about table view, then this guy, collection view, is very much like this. It also has a data source object that provides it the data. It has another object called delegate object that if you tap on a cell, then it will just like gets noticed that this cell just gets selected, or this cell gets moved, or this cell gets touched, or those kind of things. And another thing in collection view is it has a layout object. This layout object is the reason why it's so flexible. You see on the App Store that has kind of like the carousel effect, or you see all around like in the Apple Music app, it can create the bubbles of like the artist that you can move around. You can select that and just scale up. If you want to know what is that thing about, open up the Apple Music app and you can select the music there. Very cool effect. Alright, so I will have this guy. Let's make this navigation controller to be our initial view controller, like that. And then I will select the navigation bar, change the navigation bar, the tint color, all of those kind of things. So the style here, let's change the style into black because we want to have the white title color. And then I will unselect the translucent, and the bar tint I will use this color, and you can copy the color to be, here we go, the hexadecimal color is 64, D4, and 91. Okay, next up, I want to change this title right here. Okay, change the title into something like photos. Just simple like that. And how about I will change this guy? The navigation bar, let's change the title font into custom. Change it back to custom like this. And then we use Avenir next. And then the style, I will use bold. Okay, and then let's make that 18. Okay, so we have this guy. Next up, let's configure our cell for the collection view. Now you know, just like table view, it has table view cell. Collection view also has collection view cell. So each of the cell here will be a prototype for each of these images. Now you look at these images, right? It has basically the same UI, the same component, has only one image inside that cell. And we also have the divider or the separator of these images, the section. We call that the header cell, right? The header cell, we can design that too. So let's do this guy. Number one, I will design header cell. And the way that we do this is we select the collection view like that, okay? And then we'll select the accessories and we'll have the section header like this. You see the section header, okay? And then I will drag out some images and some label into this. So let's have an image, put out an image like this. And usually you put it as 32 points. So let's put the view here. I will make the X position is 8 pixel, the Y position is 12, the width is 32, height is 32. And make sure that this guy, okay? And then I want to increase the height of this section, 6, so I plus another 6, that will be 56. Okay? And then we'll make sure that 12 to the top, 12 to the bottom, 8 to the left, just like this. And then let's have another thing is the category label, the name, the title of the category. And we also have that guy as a label. So let's have the label. Put it right into the middle here, 8 to the left, that's good. And how about we category label, like this guy. All right. And then we'll change this thing into Avenir next, bold, those kind of things. So we change this guy, custom, Avenir next. And the styles here, I will use bold, like that. 17 is good. And then I will hold the Command key, click the plus button, 18, so let's move it up, 16 to the top, 16 to the bottom, like this. And then the color, let's change the color into this color, grayish color. Okay, the code is 50% of black. You see that? Alright, next up, let's have auto layout. Now auto layout is pretty simple in this case. So can I give you a little code challenge? Is apply auto layout for these two elements, okay? So you can pause the video or you can do it along with me. So I will apply auto layout for this guy as top, left, and bottom, the width and the height, add the constraints, and this guy too. So we have uncheck the constraint to margin, top, left, and bottom, and we have the width. Oops, no, we don't need the width and height, okay? Just like this, and it should be working. Next up, let's have our cell. Each of the cell, we will make it just by, so that we can design it, is 200 by 200 points. So that later on we can design this guy, okay? So I will select this collection view, not the cell. You notice that over here we have collection view controller is the whole controller, has the root view is our collection view, right? The collection view controller has the root view is the collection view, and inside the collection view, the header here is of the class collection view, collection reusable view. Okay, the class of the header is collection reusable view, and then the each of the cell here has the class is collection view cell, UI collection view cell. Okay, as we move along, you will get used to those concepts. So next up, I will select the collection view like this. Goes into the size inspector, and then we have the cell size. Let's put it 200 by 200. Now you notice that it will be very big, but we will use code to change that to be 3 rows, 3 items per row. The header size, that's cool. And then I want to change the mean spacing right here. It means that what is the spacing between two cells, right? We have one cell here. I don't know how to like, so one cell here, and then the spacing between these two cells. We change that for the cells is 1 pixel. And then for the line, meaning that these 2 rows, so we have the lines is just 1 pixel, like that. So that the space between these images, like this, it will be very, very small. It is just 2 pixels. I'm sorry, 2 points, right? So it's very small. If you want to have like bigger spacing, increase that thing. Okay, so that should be good. Next up, let's add an image into this cell. So let's have an UI image view. Drag this guy to the screen like that thing, and then I will apply auto layout immediately. 0 to the top, 0 to the left, 0 to the right, and 0 to the bottom. Update the frame of the items of new constraint, add the 4 constraint like that, and then we change this guy into aspect fill like this. And how about we change the image into F2? I love these images. And by the way, these images I got from Instagram, from an account called, gosh, I almost forgot that. I believe that is Milty something. Okay, I will put in the credit right below. I love her images, incredibly beautiful. And then the image here, let's do that. Have family, okay, like that, and aspect fill. Okay. All right. We have pretty much all the things. Last thing for our UI, let's do another view controller for the detail, right? So if we have this, now we have the header. Then we have the cells. Click onto the cell, we have the detail screen. So let's have the detail screen right here. The detail, we put the detail over here, and I will have a custom segue. So control click to this guy, show segue, a manual segue I should say. Okay, and then we put it another UI image view into the screen like that. Okay, and then I want to move it way up like this. No, okay, way up like that. Okay, now let's use auto layer for this guy. So 0 to the top, 0 to bottom, 0 to left, and 0 to the right. Update the items, add the constraints, that's good. But what I want to do is way above here so that it looks nice. Okay, and then we will update the constraint constant, just like that. So that is our UI. Pretty simple, huh? Okay, so I will just pause a little bit and let's make this image F2, aspect fill, looks nice. Okay, so pause a little bit so you can follow along, and let me have a sip of water. Cool? Okay, now step number 2 is we have to create a custom class for our cells. So we have 2 kinds of cells. Number 1 is the header row, the header view. Number 2 is the collection view cell. So I will create the header view first. Again, the class of this guy is UI collection reusable view. So we have to create another class for that. So let's have another class. Over here, right click or just Command N, and then I will not use a Swift file, I use a Cocoa Touch class, and the class is UI collection reusable view, and let's call this guy header view. Okay, header view, that's good. Click next, put it right here, and then I will add another group, let's call that views. Okay, and then I will move the main storyboard into the views group like this, because it's kind of the view inside our MVC, right? So we have the header view. Let's move back into the main storyboard. I'm sorry that I'm using the laptop here, so there's a little bit space we can work on, so patient with me, okay? So let's select the header view, and then we have a reuse identifier. We'll talk about this, but let's put this guy as header view, okay? And then the class for this guy, let's use a custom class. Guess what? Header view. Okay, and then we will have the assistant editor for this header view like this. Let's use automatic, it will not show up, so we use automatic manual like this, and we can use the view, header view, just like that, right? So I will move over here. Okay, now the header view here, let's have some IB outlet and some IB action. Actually, just an IB outlet. So the family image will be the category image view, right? Our category image view. Connect that. We have the category label. So let's have another outlet, and we call it category label like this. And that's pretty much that, right? So now let's move up here, have some space, and then let's have another category. Now, this category, we only have to provide what the data is the category. So we'll have a var called category. The type is photo category, like this. And whenever this guy did set, then we'll have the category label .text will be our category dot let's say title. Right? And then we also have the category image view will be category image view dot image is UI image with the name of category dot image category image name, just like that. Okay, next up, let's have another image. Another cell for the collection view cell right here. So Command N, Cocoa Touch class. It is of type UI collection view cell. And for this guy, let's call that photo cell. Photo cell, or you can call photo collection view cell, just like this. Create that. Okay. So this photo cell pretty simple. I will just have an IB outlet. I will put in Ryan code, and then we'll connect that to the storyboard. Okay. So the IB outlet is quick var photo. Let me see what I named it here. Photo image view. So photo image view of typed UI image view like this, and we have just. Because this is just dummy data. You can put it as anything that you like, but I usually have like the category or the index of the image, or just the image name or the image itself. So here I use the image name as a string like this. right? And then we have did set. When we get this guy did set, then we use the photo image view.image is our UI image with the name of image name like this. Okay, UI collection view, that's good. Let's go back into the main storyboard. And then we will have this class right here, the collection view cell. The class is photo cell. Press enter, and then we have reuse identifier here. Let's also put it as photo cell. All right, connect the IB outlet. So we have photo image view. Drag this guy to this guy. Boom. There we go. All right. Now, the next thing we do, now I know that this session will be quite long because this is a huge project. So I will try to just go each step of the way, but I will go it pretty fast. Some of these design UI I know pretty fast, so you can pause the video, okay? Next up, let's have our collection view controller. What is the controller for this whole thing? Right? We have the collection view is the UI. Now we have controller. So let's have another thing. We have new file. Coco Touch class is a subclass of UI view controller. Let's call this guy Photos Collection View Controller. Put it right here. Right? So now you will see that I will not use this guy. Okay. And then we have the class is Photos Collection View Controller. Let me increase the font size. Okay, I hope that it looks good now. Okay, is it good? Is it better? All right. So we have the Photos Collection View Controller is a subclass of UI Collection View Controller. So now we will not use the register cell classes because we use the storyboard. So we delete that thing and let's delete all of these things altogether. Okay. Number one, what is the data model? What is the data we are trying to display? Remember that the AMVC we have the model, the view, and the controller, right? Or the model, the controller, and the view. The controller will controls the view, takes the data from the model, put it into the view, right? So what is the model, the data? Well, we get that from our model class. So let's have a var photo categories is the photo category dot fetch photos. And then you will see that inside our photo.script, there will be a class, a struct called photo category, has a function called fetch photos, return for us an array of photo category. Okay, and then we have our photo categories. Next up, let's create a storyboard structure here, storyboard. So that this thing will contain, it's just my personal practice, that whenever we have some identifier, especially for the cells, for the header, for the segues that I put inside this structure, storyboard, so that we will not have to like tapping in the string, very, very error prone. So we have static let is photo cell is photo cell. Right, another thing is static let, let's say category or static let header cell is header cell. We also have, let's say the show detail segue. So static let show detail segue is show detail like that. Okay, and then don't forget we have to move back here into the storyboard. Add the show detail segue here. Okay, segue identifier is show detail. Go back into the thing right here. Let me see what's the error. All right, that's cool. Now we have the storyboard show detail. Next up, let's configure our collection view controller. Why don't we just put it a run first, right? So I will have it a run. Let's go into main storyboard so that we can make sure that the custom class of this guy to be our collection view photos collection view controller. Run it. Alright, so we will not use this reuse identifier, so I will use just have storyboard dot, not header cell but photo cell. Okay, let's run the project. Now the thing that it just yelled at me is that the cell for item at index path collection view. Okay, the method. So let's see. Alright, now we have a collection view. There's nothing here yet because it's a white screen. There's nothing here yet because we haven't implemented the data source methods and the delegate methods. So let's implement that. Okay, so now actually I will delete all of these code that storyboard generates for us from the did receive memory warning way below here, because we don't really need that. I want you typing in with you so that you know that it is there, that we have to use those things. So inside the storyboard we have several constants. Number one, static let, we call that left and right paddings is a CG float. We have that 2.0. Now this left and right paddings is the space, the padding, right, between the cells. So I will go into the complete project right here, okay, and you see that in each of the rows here, right, we have a little, very small space. I hope that you can see that, a little space between these two images, and that is the padding between these images, okay, and each of these is 2 pixels. I'm sorry, each of that is 1 point, so the both of that is 2 points. Next up, let's have the number of items per row. So static let number of items per row, a CG float again, we have 3.0, and just like that. So now inside the view.load here, I will configure that number one is we have to calculate what is the width of the cells, or what is the width of the cell. So now before we do that, before we configure the width of the cell, let's actually show those cells up. To show those cells up, we have to implement a method called, a protocol called UICollectionView data source, like this. So let me put it way up here. UICollectionView data source. So number one, the number of sections in the collection view. Here, let's put it as 2 sections, or like 5 sections, right? And then number 2 is the number of cells, number of items inside each section. You see this? Collection view, number of items in section. So the collection view is kind of like a tail view. It has different sections, and then in each of the sections we'll have different items, or we call that cells, right? So here, let's return that. Let's say each has 10 items, right? Each section, we have 5 sections. Each section has 10 items. And then inside here, let's implement each, how does each item, how does each cell looks like? And that is the item. Okay, so cell for item at index path, collection view cell for item at index path. Here we have to dequeue a reusable cell with identifier. So I will have let cell is UI collection, cell is collection view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier here. We use the storyboard dot photo cell. For the index path is our index path that passes into this method right here, okay? And then we have to cast it as a photo cell. The super class of this guy is UI collection view cell. We cast it as the photo cell, and then this cell will have let cell dot image name. Let's say it is F2, like that, okay? And then we return the cell, just like this. So let's run the project and see how it looks like. Here we go. Let me put it aside, like that. 2, 3, 1. All right, you see this? There we go. That is how you display those images into the collection view. Now notice that each of these, right, we have these a little bit space above here. those space above here, those space are the header, but we haven't shown up anything in the header yet. Below that is exactly 10 cells between those two sections because we have the 10 cells as in each section. And then in the cell for item index path, we just load it as F2, the image that we use inside our storyboard, right? That's how we do it. Now, let's see how we can make sure that there's only 3 cells between these guys. And by the way, you see that there's a little bit of space between these 2 cells. That's 2 points. I'm sorry, 1 point. That's because we have the mean space in the storyboard. We have the lines per line is 1 point. Okay, so now go back into the view that load here, and we will make sure that we calculate the width of the collection view cell, and we set that width to be each of the cell. Number 1, let the collection view width. We can know that using the collection view, which is our root view dot bound. I'm sorry, let's use dot frame dot width. Now the dot frame is the position and the size of the view respect to the super view. Okay, so it's now 0, 0, and the size is to the super view. And then we have let the item width, the width of each item. So what is the width of each item? Let's go back into our complete project right here, right? So we have the width of the whole thing is this guy. The width of each item is, we have to minus the paddings between those 2 cells, and then we divide it by 3. Pretty simple, huh? So the item width here, let's use collection view width, like that. We ungrab that firstly because we know it will exist, minus the storyboard dot left and right paddings. We divide it by 3.0, or actually I will use divided by storyboard dot number of items per row. That should be so that if you want to have like the left and right padding bigger, you can change it here. If you want to have more items per row, you can change it here. Right? Now, in order to make sure that we add this width to the item of the cell, we have to get through an object called the collection view flow layout. This is the layout object that will determine how the collection view looks like. Now, I hope that in the future episodes, we'll have another episode to do some weird thing, some advanced thing with this collection view layout object. It's very cool. In fact, it's more advanced than this, so we'll have another episode on that. Now, just know that we can access the layout object. Let's layout equals the collection view layout like this. We cast it as UI collection view layout, okay? And then we do layout.item. Let me make sure that item size, okay, layout.item size, okay, equals to CG size, because it is CG size like this. So CG size with a width, the width and height. Now the width and the height will be the item width and item width, just like this. Let's run the project, see how it looks like. Oh, by the way, UI collection view layout. Oh, UI collection view flow layout. Run the project. So we have our simulator right here, and there we go. We have 3 images per row, and we have 10 items in each of the section. Right? Now let's do the last thing. Is we put each of those images inside that category into the image, right? Into the cell. So the number of sections method goes into the UI collection view data source. The number of sections here we use photo categories dot count, like that, right? Because the photo categories is over here. And then for the number of items in the section, we use photo categories subscript section dot image names dot count. Now we have different sections. In each section, we have different images names, and then we count how many names are there inside that array. Make sense? Now the last thing is the UI collection view cell. So we have let the section or let category photo category is our photo category. Subscript index path dot section, and then we have let image names is, I want to go through each of the steps so you know, photo category, photo category dot image names, and then let image name to be, or yeah, let's image name is the image names subscript index path dot item. So the dot item here will gives you the index path of the item inside the section. Last thing, cell.imageName will be the image name, like that. Run the project and see how it looks like. Let's see. All right, see that? Beautiful, isn't it? Wow, I love it. I really love it. All right, so now let's get into the header cell. The header cell is really cool. We just have to implement another method. Remember that the header cell, the custom class for the header cell is our header view.swift. Okay, so the method that we can provide the layout for the header cell is something we call collection view for supplementary element of kind. Well, that's a kind of mouthful. So let's typing it in. Collection view for supplementary element of kind. Kind of a mouthful, I know. So we have to override this guy. Now this, again, the class of the cell, of the header cell is UI collection view, UI collection reusables view. We have to return that, and again we will have to dequeue that thing. So let's header cell is collection view dot, we also use the key reusable, not cell but reusable supplementary view. Okay, of kind, we pass in the kind, we don't have to worry about what's that kind, and then the identifier is storyboard dot header cell for the index path that is passed into our method right here, and then we cast it as the header view. Okay, and then we just have to get the category of our thing is photo category subscript index path dot section, like this. We have the category, right? Next thing, let's have the header cell, or I want to call it header view, and then the header view dot category is our category, and then we return the header view, like that. Let's run the project and see how it looks like. Alright, so here's the project. So we have an error, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so we have a terminating with uncaught exception of type NS exception. These kind of things usually happen with something inside our storyboard, especially in this case. Okay, not in every single case. So what happens is we have to scroll way up to here, and you'll see that a section failure of here collection view, the key reusable view of kind with identifier of those kind of things, and you read further, you will see, okay, here we go, could not dequeue a view of kinds, this thing, section header, right, with identifier header cell must register a nib or a class for the identifier or connect a prototype cell in the storyboard. So it means that we have something wrong in the storyboard, right? So with the header view, so the header view here, let's the header cell, right, we go back into the main storyboard like this. We make sure that this here, the header view, right, we make sure that header view is this thing, and the identifier is header view, right? And then we go back here to check the identifier inside our photos collection view controller. Above here, the storyboard, right? And yeah, we call it header cell. So let's call that header view, and here header view, like that. So there's difference between our identifiers. Now that's the reason why I put in this storyboard right here. If you put it in a different place, every time that you use an identifier, you put a different string there, and when you want to change it, you have to find those places. Or you can use find all and replace all, but that's still very error prone. So that's why we use the storyboard, right? So here we change that into header view, like this. Run it, and hopefully it works this time. So. Okay, so this is our little beautiful icon. I just created it. Bingo! Let's see this? Incredibly nice. All right, here we go. That's it, my friend. Last thing I want to do in this one, I want to show you how to transition to, but it's very, very long, so I will put it in another episode, okay? So now, the last thing I want to show you, just to prepare for the next episode, is the transition. We have to know, when we tap onto a cell, we transition, we segue into the detail screen. How can we do that? Remember that we have a segue called the show detail. This show detail has the detail view controller, right? So we have to create that controller too. Right click into, or let's use Command N, go touch class, UI view controller. We call that detail view controller. We put it in here, create. So the detail view controller, like this, right? Now this detail view controller has only one thing, is our image, right? So let's have the category. Our category is photo category, like this, right? And then whenever this passes into this, the view that load, and then we have another thing called an IB outlet. At IB outlet, wick var is category image view of type UI image view, like this, right? Inside the view that load, when this gets loaded, we do category image view.image to be our UI image with the name of category dot let's see, category image name, like that, right? That's pretty good. Alright, I want to change the title. You can use navigation item.title to be our category.title, like this, so it looks better, right? And then let's connect our storyboard like this. So we have this detail view, like that thing. The custom class is detail view controller, and then the outlet we have is our category image name. I'm sorry, category image view, like that. Connect to that thing, and guess what? We have to implement that inside the Photos Collection View Controller too. By the way, let's delete this view controller. We don't need that thing. Select these two controllers, put it into a new group called controllers, right? And then let's go into the Photo Collection View Controller. And here comes another protocol called the collection view, UI collection view delegate. So mark, I put in mark here, UI collection view delegate, like this, right? And then inside this we have collection view did select item. Let me find that. Did select item, like this. Did select item at index path, right? And then we override this thing like this, right? Now inside this we can have our number one, the category. Number two, we can segue into that details segue, right? So the category is self.photo category subscript index path.row. I'm sorry, index path.section, because we have the section is the category. Let the image of the category is do we need that? No, we don't need that. So let's have self.perform segue with identifier like this. The identifier is storyboard.show detail. The sender I will use category. Okay, so I pass in the category as the sender because when we have the mark navigation like this, and when we implement the prepare for segue, prepare for segue like that thing, right? When we prepare for the segue, we can do what? We can do if the segue dot identifier is equals to the storyboard dot show detail. Storyboard dot show detail segue. Hey, by the way, why do I do this? Why do I do this? Let me pause here. You do the rest of this code challenge. Put right down your code below for me. Make a comment for me so I know that you complete this project with me. So I know that you do participate in our project. Okay, this should be trivial now. So I will leave it for you. Guys, so pause this workshop, do it on your own, and then come back with me. Okay, do that. Alright, so I hope that you do this, so I will do the rest so we can conclude this session. Let's detail view controller is segue.destination. We cast it as the detail view controller, and we got the detail vc.category is our sender as a photo category, because when we have the perform segue, we pass the sender as the category, just like that. And then now when we run the project, and hopefully it will work by now. Here we go. Alright, click into this. Okay. Alright, so I got, why is it that we did wrong here? Why is it that we did wrong here? Yeah, we pass in the image of the category, not the image, right? So let's fix this thing. So we have, let's the image will be category subscript image names subscript index path dot item, right? And then I pass into that the image like this, and then we pass in detail vc dot image is the sender as a UI image, right? Image is UI image like this, right? With the name of this guy like that. I know this is a little bit crazy here, so we pass in the image over here. We cast it as an UI image, and by the way, we don't have this yet, so let's change this. Instead of category, we have the UI image like this, right? And then we have the image, and over here we just pass in that image. So the title I will just put it as photo. Run it. Don't need that receive memory warning, those kind of things. Don't need this too. Let's see how it looks like. Boom, bingo. All right, now the last thing, let's change that navigation. You see that the photo, the back button, I don't want that, so let's change that. This navigation again, navigation bar, we change the tint color into white color, and also let's hit this navigation bar. The back button I want to have just a space, because when we run it, remember that the back bar of this navigation is just a space. When we run it, okay, let's see. Come on. Here we go. When we run this guy, goes into this guy, and the back button will be just an arrow. It looks nicer, at least. Okay, so that, my friend, is how you build a photos browser with Collection View. We learned a lot in this section. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. So we have a collection view with different sections. Inside that is a grid of images. We can click into the image, we show the detail screen. In the next episode, in the next session, we're going to learn how we can do this incredibly nice transition is we click to this, it zooms out the image and it zooms in the thing, right? It zooms out the image like that. I hope that you enjoyed this. Put a comment right below this video for me to let me know that you complete this session. Let me know who you are, where you're from, do you like this or not, what is the questions that you have. I will try to answer as many questions as I can in the next sessions. Until then, goes into this button on the screen, download the complete project, go to the next section. I see you there. Till then, go out there every single day of your life. Please subscribe to the channel so I can continue to deliver free video trainings for you, and goes to my website so you can get updates and free training videos every single week. Till then, I see you all around social media, all around our emails, all around the world. Till then, go out there every single day of your life, learn new things, craft your ideas, contribute to the world. See you, my friend.